Supreme Peace. Welcome, everyone. So, there is a question that arrives in every human life. Sometimes it arrives at 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it arrives in the middle of the celebration. And when the room is full and you have never felt further away from everyone in it, the question is very simple: who am I?
And underneath it, two more. Where have I come from?
Mm.
Where do I have to go?
Ah. For as long as there have been human beings, the soul that begins asking these questions has turned in one direction, towards a teacher, towards a
Hmm.
guide, towards a guru.
But somewhere along the way, that word became crowded. And there are so many voices now, so many traditions, so many paths, so many stages, with so many people standing on them. And seeker can spend an entire lifetime
Mhm.
moving from one to the next
Mhm.
and still go to the sleep at night with
Mhm.
the same emptiness they woke up with.
Mhm. So today we are not going to ask who should I follow.
Hmm. We are going to ask something much more useful, which is what is a guru actually for?
Yeah. Welcome everyone to Era of Supreme Peace. I am Mona.
And I am Chetna.
Mhm.
So sit somewhere comfortably. This one goes deep.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, Mona ji, I want to start with something what Bapuji says that stopped me at the first time I heard it. Like he says that search doesn't begin because of the curiosity, it begins because of the pain.
A very particular kind of pain.
Yes, not the pain of a bad day, a pain of something being unfinished. The soul doesn't even know its own name yet, but it knows that something is missing.
Hmm.
And material life cannot fill that gap.
Hmm.
Pleasure cannot feel it. Success cannot feel it. Family, even the most beautiful family, cannot feel it.
Wow, there is a quiet ache that stays inside.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that ache is what pushes the soul into the search.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah. And here is where Bapuji, the Shad Bhai Patel, says something that reframes the whole thing. He says this ache is strongest in the souls who have come down from higher regions.
Yes.
Mm.
Please go on.
Yes, yes, yeah. So, Chetnaji, a soul that has previously resided in, we can say, the higher realms, Swarglok, heaven, in Meherlok, in Janlok, in Taplok, in Brahmpuris.
Hmm.
That soul will never feel that earth is home. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be, it doesn't have to be told. It knows from the inside that this is not my original place.
And so the restless isn't the defect.
Yes. The restlessness is memory, faint,
Hmm.
wordless, but a memory.
And that changes how you hold your own life, doesn't
Hmm.
it?
Mhm.
All those years you thought something was wrong with you because you couldn't settle.
Yeah. When in fact, the reason you could not settle is that you had somewhere higher to return to.
Hmm. So Bapuji places three questions. at the exact center of the guru disciple relationship. And he is very direct. A true guru exists to help the soul answer these three and nothing less.
Yeah. Who am I? The first one, who am I? Am I this body or am I the soul that lives inside the body?
Yeah, and second one, where have I come from? So
Mhm.
before this human body, from which dimensions of creation did my soul descend in?
Yeah. And the third is, where do I have to go? What is my soul's destination? And how do I reach it?
And then the line that will make some listeners uncomfortable. Bapuji says a guru who cannot take the seeker beyond these three questions is not the complete guru, with meaning that a guru who do not have complete knowledge.
Yeah. So Bapuji is very careful here. He's not saying such a teacher is a fraud. They may be a sincere, honest teacher of one path, one
Hmm.
tradition. But they are not the one who can bring the soul all the way back to home.
Yes. In Bapuji words, without knowledge, the soul goes nowhere.
Without knowledge, the soul cannot truly rise anywhere at all.
So true.
Yeah. So now the question is why the old way no longer works. Chetna
Hmm.
ji, there was a time when this was all much so simpler.
There was reminds us that in the age of the Mahabharata, there were kul gurus, family guru, one
Mhm.
teacher,
Hmm.
guiding one family generation after generation.
Hmm.
Your guru was simply the guru of your household.
Hmm.
You inherited them the way you inherited a surname.
Hmm. And Bapuji says plainly, अब जो जमाना अब वो जमाना नहीं रहा, that means that age is over. Time has
Hmm.
changed. Hmm.
Right. And why did it work then, though? Because it did work.
It did work, but now it's not working. Two reasons.
Hmm.
The souls on earth in those earlier ages, like golden age, we can say silver age, and most
Hmm.
of the copper age, were of a much higher quality. Their inner strength was greater, and the world around them was so simple. One family guru was genuinely enough for what the times demanded.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So the guru of that age didn't have to explain the multiverse.
Not at all. The atmosphere itself was so supportive that ordinary spiritual guidance was enough to keep souls elevated and to earn them a good next birth.
Okay. And now, what is the
Yeah.
difference?
Now is the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age. So the illusion is very powerful. We can say Maya is extremely powerful, and the atmosphere is so heavy with negativity. Souls are confused. The mind is restless. Information is everywhere.
So true, Monaji. And
Mhm.
clarity is nowhere. It's
Yes,
hard to find clarity.
exactly. Bapuji explains that when the age changes, the human capacity to receive knowledge also changes. And the
Hmm.
guru's capacity to give knowledge changes too.
Hmm.
So, one level of teaching cannot serve for 4 ages.
Yes. So there is one more piece of the old model I want to name because I think it is still lives in a lot of homes.
Mhm.
The inherited with the devotion,
Hmm.
inherited devotion.
Yeah, inherited devotion. So true. In the old pattern, the guru was inherited. The family had its guru. Children grew up worshipping that guru as God. When Guru died, his statue went up in the house and worship continued generation after generation. While nobody ever stopped to ask what knowledge did this Guru actually give. So Bapuji is also tender about this, but he doesn't soften it. Devotion is beautiful, but devotion without knowledge cannot carry the soul past a certain point. The
Mm.
soul may receive moments of peace, it doesn't receive liberation.
Okay, so which is why Bapuji says that age demands a spirituality built on Gyan, on knowledge, because Gyan means knowledge, and because without knowledge, the seeker can't even recognize the true Guru.
Hmm.
Without knowledge, the seeker can't tell which teaching lifts them and which one binds them deeper into Maya.
Yeah. In Bapuji's words, now there is no path without knowledge.
So true.
Hmm.
So, what Guru is actually for?
Hmm.
Then, if the old model is finished, what is the real work of a Guru now? And Monaji, this is the part of the book I would want to hand to someone like who has only 5 minutes.
It is a list. And
Yeah.
Bapuji is clear that this is not his personal opinion. This is what he has seen with divine vision, the definition of Guruhood itself.
So go through them with
Hmm.
us, please.
Hmm. So, one is the knowledge of the soul. A guru must make the seeker realize you are not the body, you are not the mind, you
Mm.
are a point of conscious light, eternal,
Mm.
indestructible. This is the foundation of everything. Without it, all other knowledge drifts like a boat with no anchor.
Right.
Mhm.
And second one is experience of soul consciousness, not
Mhm.
intellectual understanding, actual realization from inside. The
Mhm.
moment the seeker experience themselves for the first time, not as a body but as a soul, a
Mhm.
true guru opens the door step by step.
Mhm. Three is the law of karma. How thought, word, and action create the soul's future.
Mm.
How the soul accumulates sanskars. How karmic bondage keeps the soul turning inside the cycle of death and birth. Without this teaching, the seeker cannot understand why their life is the way it is or how to change it.
Right. And the fourth one is the way out of the cycle, which is mukti, the state where the soul finally merges back into the creator. And Jivan Mukti, which is freedom from the karmic bondage while still in the body.
Hmm. And fifth is the most important knowledge of the Supreme.
Mhm.
The Guru must point towards the Almighty authority, show the seeker how to build a direct connection, and finally teach how the soul returns to the highest supreme abode, Paramdham.
So
Hmm.
true.
Mhm.
And then Bapuji gives us the image the whole book is named for.
Yeah. गुरु एक ब्रिज बनाता है और परमात्मा के बीच में आत्मा और
Hmm.
परमात्मा के बीच में गुरु एक ब्रिज बनाता है. That means the guru builds a bridge between the soul and the supreme soul.
Yeah. And notice where the Guru stands in the
Hmm.
middle.
Yeah.
Not to hold the soul with them.
But to carry the soul across. How beautiful.
Yes.
Mhm.
And Bapuji says this directly the work of a true Guru begins at the soul and that completes at the Supreme.
Hmm.
The moment the soul is connected to the Almighty Authority, the Guru's work is finished. They don't want to remain the center of the disciple attention.
Mm.
They are always pointing beyond themselves.
Mm. So, in Bapuji's words, a true guru takes you from the soul to the supreme, not to himself.
Yeah. And Monaji, that's the test. That's the whole test. A guru keeps the disciple bound to themselves, who let worship settle around their own personality, who never finally point to the supreme.
And that bridge between soul and the supreme soul is stopped halfway.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there is a confession in this chapter too that it's one of the most moving movement in this book. Like Bapuji says, that in all his decades of searching, in every philosophy he studied from childhood onwards, he did not find such a guru on this earth.
Mm. So he turned inwards. He became stable in soul consciousness. We can say the Atma Swarup. He
Mm,
focused on the formless almighty authority. He meditated for years.
yes. And then from within his own soul, the knowledge began to emerge. Like Anantakoti Brahman, galaxies, universes, and multiverses.
Yeah. And that is the path he now opens for every sincere seeker. So the question is why so many paths? All
Mm,
partially true. Chetna ji, here is a question a lot of thoughtful people get stuck on. Why are there so many religions, so many
yes.
sects, so many paths? And why does each one feel partially right?
So Bapuji answer is unusually precise. He says most of the great spiritual teachers and the founders of paths who have appeared on this earth came down from the higher regions
Hmm.
of the subtle world.
Hmm. So, layer upon layer above the earth,
Yes.
the higher abodes still within the solar system. We can say
Mhm.
earth. The names are Bhuvarlok, then the Swarglok, which is heaven, that Mahalok, Janlok, and Taplok. So I would like to say to our viewers, if they need more information about it, there are so many videos of Bapuji on his channel, Bapuji Dashit Bhai Patel channel, and you can go there and get more information about those layers above the earth. And so there are so many layers above the earth and higher abodes still within the solar system. In Meherlok and above reside the great rishis and munis, the great sages, highly evolved souls who have given long lifetimes to spiritual practices.
Hmm. And many of those souls watching human suffering from above feel a deep desire to help. So
Hmm.
they came down. They come
Hmm.
down, they make the human birth, they give the knowledge, they uplift the humanity.
Hmm.
They appear as gurus, as founders of the path, sometimes as avatars and divine messengers as well.
Hmm. And now the crucial point, Chetnaji.
Every guru can only give what they themselves have seen, what they have.
Yeah. So a guru who descended from heaven can teach only up to that layer, the heaven, that
Yes.
level, we can say. One who came from above, like Meherlok, can teach only up to that lok or that layer or that dimension. One from Janlok up to the Janlok. Each soul carries the knowledge of the level it came from and not
Hmm.
one step beyond.
So, which explains everything, doesn't it? The Shiv Panthis speak of Shiv. The
Hmm.
The Vaishnavas, they only speak till Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. And every tradition has its own deity. So it's
Hmm.
mantra and its scriptures. And every one of them carries the seeker at most back to the place its founder came from.
Yeah. So each one true within its own boundary, none of
Mhm.
them the complete picture yet. Yeah.
Yes. And Bapuji then widens the frame until it becomes almost dazzling. Our solar system alone is unimaginably vast. And above our galaxy, which is Milky Way, above that, our universe, and far above is the universe, that is a multiverse.
Hmm.
And beyond the multiverses, there is a Behad creation, infinite creations.
And Bapuji says the knowledge of those higher regions has never been written in any scripture. No
So
founder
true.
of any sect gave it. It exists, but it was not remained beyond the vision of those who descended from the subtle world.
Mhm. So, no traditional guru can give the supreme knowledge, not
Hmm.
because they are dishonest, because they haven't seen past their own dimensions of origin.
Yeah. So they will give you what they have. What they never knew, they cannot give.
That's so true. In Bapuji words, he says the soul finds its peace only where it came from.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So, the limit of every teacher. Monaji, will you tell the Vivekananda story? I think it makes this linked.
Yeah. It is the example Bapuji Dashrath Bhai Patel returns to again and again.
Mhm.
Ramakrishna Paramahansa was a great soul. He
Mm.
worshipped the goddess Mahakali. In deep meditation, he conversed with her. He taught Vivekanand to worship Mahakali, and Vivekanand too communicated with that goddess
So the Guru gave everything he had fully without holding it back.
completely. But beyond that goddess, Ramakrishna himself had not gone. The knowledge of
Mm.
soul and supreme soul beyond that point was not in his own realization.
And so Vivekananda, having received everything from his Guru, kept studying.
Yeah. So Bapuji says it very simply. विवेकानंद धीरे धीरे और भी philosophy पढ़े. He read more slowly. That seeker, Vivekanand. He went further on his own strength. Why?
Mm.
Because his
Because,
guru, however great, had a boundary. And beyond that boundary, Vivekanand had to walk alone.
how? Which
Hmm.
brings us to a principle I find genuinely liberating. Bapuji says the final steps must be taken by the soul itself. Okay.
Yeah. And Bapuji gives such an ordinary, perfect analogy. School and college. From kindergarten to college, teachers help you. They
Mm.
explain, they guide, they connect they correct your mistakes. But when you finally do a PhD,
Nobody does your research for you.
yes, you sit alone with your subject. You think, you search, you explore. The teacher's role reduces to occasionally checking the work. The real labor is yours.
Wow. So, in
Hmm.
Bapuji words, a guru can give knowledge the realization you have to leave yourself.
Hmm. And there is a corollary here that I want us to say out loud because it cuts against something a lot of people are taught.
Mm.
Free will never leave the seeker. Even after you accept a guru, you remain responsible for your own transformation.
The guru
So,
cannot act in your place. The guru gives knowledge. You have to live it. The guru opens
mhm,
the door. You have to walk through it. The guru points to
mhm,
the supreme. You have to turn your own heart in that direction.
yes.
Hmm.
Which is why Bapuji doesn't encourage spiritual dependence, a relationship
Hmm.
where the disciple surrenders their discernment, hands over their questioning, and waits for the guru to do everything.
So that relationship will leave the soul exactly where it is.
Yeah.
So the seeker who keeps moving. So Manaji, I want to bring into for the listener, I imagine while reading this chapter, someone who has had four gurus or even seven, 13, and who carries guilt about it.
Hmm. Bapuji meets those people constantly. Someone will
Uh-huh.
tell him, I have taken 13 gurus in my life. Not one of them gave me what I was looking for.
And he doesn't scold them.
Yeah. He listens patiently and then he says something remarkable. In some cases, the bond is a sign of a higher soul. Wow.
Unpack
Hmm.
that because it's a counter to what most of us were raised on.
Yeah. So Bapuji divides seekers broadly into two kinds. The first is a soul in which inner strength hasn't yet developed.
Mm.
That soul accepts whichever guru it meets first, binds itself with full devotion, and stays there for a lifetime. It will not ask any question, it will not compare, it just settles, often out of fear of being called disloyal.
And the second?
The second is the higher soul. We can say the Behad soul, infinite soul, deep spiritual capacity. That
Mm.
soul cannot be satisfied by partial answers.
Mm.
It will go to a teacher, learn what is there, and if the inner thirst is not quenched, it moves on. It compares, it examines, it keeps searching until it finds the ultimate truth.
Wow. So Babuji's lived the guilt off completely. He says the
Mhm.
soul's final loyalty is not to any human teacher, it is to the Supreme. If the Guru
Hmm.
cannot take the soul to the Supreme, then it is right of the soul to keep searching.
Hmm. But, and this matters, he names the opposite danger too.
Hmm. My Guru is the only Guru.
My guru is the only guru. Yes, some seekers have accepted one guru, closed their heart to every other teaching. Mine is the only true one. Everyone
Hmm.
else is wrong. They argue, they defend, and they fight too sometimes.
And Bapuji says this freezes the soul's growth at exactly the level its chosen Guru reached. If that level is high, the soul grows that far and stops. If that level is partial, the soul inherits the same limitations and cannot see the past them.
Yeah. Either way, sectarian loyalty becomes a wall, we can say.
So there is one more distinction I don't want to lose because I think it's the practical heart of this chapter. This restlessness, wandering is not the same as discerning the search.
Hmm. No. Restless wandering is agitated, dissatisfied, often emotional. running from teacher to teacher, hoping for a quick experience. Discerning search is calm, knowledge based, and clear eyed, moving on only when the soul recognizes that more depth is needed.
Yeah. So, in Bapuji's words, a higher soul is never satisfied with the half truth.
Hmm. So now the question is why you got the teachers you got, Chetnaji. There
Well
is a
said.
chapter in the book that answers a question I do not think I had ever thought to ask. Why
Mm.
do different souls get different gurus?
And the answer is karma. So, Bapuji explained that everything a soul receives in life, family, relationships, occupation, and yes, even its guru, comes according to the accumulated karma and inner capacity.
Just as the soul attracts its patients, its body, its surrounding, it attracts its spiritual guide too.
Mm. So, in Bapuji words, whatever guru anyone's get, they get according to the accounts of their own karma.
Yeah. And there is a consequence of this that I find quietly beautiful. Two seekers can sit in front of the same teacher and receive two completely different things.
And the soul receives only words. I remember that
Hmm.
Operation Ganga episode.
Yeah. One soul receives only words, the other soul receives a doorway.
Yes. Same teacher, different soul. What is received depends
Hmm.
on what the soul can hold.
Hmm. So Bapuji then turns his attention to something specific, the Behad souls.
Mm.
Souls who came from the Behad dimension, infinite dimensions, with very high power. And he gives a number. At this time, in this earthly life, there are approximately 18 lakh such souls. 9 lakh male energy, and 9 lakh is Prakriti, we can say, the feminine
Feminine
divine
relationship.
energy. Yes, yeah.
So, not born in our solar system, not in our galaxy, not even in our universe.
Yeah, from far higher dimensions. 200 kala, 200 celestial degree, 500, thousands, even crores of celestial degree creations is here.
And such a soul having descended into the human body feels the
Hmm.
deepest restlessness on earth. No single
Yes.
deity mantra satisfies. No rituals can hold it. No sects can contain it.
Hmm. In Bapuji's words, such souls keep searching for knowledge and searching and searching. And eventually they will come to us.
So, meanwhile, the lower order soul finds comfort in the small framework one guru, one mantra, and one idol. It feels no one to search further. It receives some
Hmm.
peace, adopts some rituals, and spends a whole life within that circumferences, often many lives, in fact.
Yeah. And Papuji does not condemn that soul. It is at its natural level.
Mhm.
But he is very honest. That soul will not break the cycle of birth and death in this life. It will earn some punya, the good karmic account. After death, it will go to some middle kind of high dimension. Then it will return to a human body again, and the cycle repeats.
So, when the soul's condition changes, its guru changes too.
Yeah, which means do not be anxious if the shape of guidance in your life has kept changing.
Mhm.
Every guru you met for a reason. Every stage was the stage of your soul could take at that time.
So, what matters now is only this: keep moving until the higher connection is established.
Yes, yes.
So, the strange gift of this age. So, Monaji, we have spent a lot of these episodes of on what's difficult about the Kali Yuga. Means ironage.
Mm,
Bapuji also names its gift.
he does. And it is such an unexpected one. He says knowledge is now accessible to everyone.
Hmm,
Whatever the limits of the digital world, this much is true. Today's sincere seeker is no longer restricted to whichever guru happens to live in their town.
right. So in बापूजी words, आज तो तुम्हारे पास इंटरनेट पे जमाना है. इंटरनेट पर सर्च करो.
Hmm. So today you have the age of internet. Search on it. Listen to
Yes.
all the teachers. Hear what each one is saying. Then consider for yourself which of these teachings actually carries the soul back home.
Wow, wow, wonderful.
Mm.
And he is
Mm.
careful to say the internet is not a guru.
No, he says the internet has become a witness, a place where every teaching, every tradition, every philosophy can be laid side by side and explained. The seeker no longer has to accept only what is placed in front of them. They can compare, they can study, they can evaluate.
Wonderful. And he gave a
Mm.
very usable taste of evaluating a teacher. Look for the one
Mm.
who speaks with the most clarity on two things. First, the soul, second, the supreme. And beyond that,
Mm.
the whole world
Mm.
drama. How creation
Mm.
was made, why it was made, and where it is going. What's the current state?
Mm. Yeah. So, in Bapuji's words, the greatest knowledge is of soul and supreme soul, and
Mhm.
of how the whole world drama was made, why it was made, and how it runs.
Right. But then the warning, and it's sharp one, but like blind following has simply moved online.
Blind following has simply moved online. That is so true. Many people watch one video, read one article, and accept the whole message completely.
Hmm.
They make that teacher their final authority. They stop listening to anything else.
And Bapuji says that is no different from the old blind devotion. It's the same. It just happened through the screen now. It's another name.
Yes, yes. Keep listening, keep comparing, keep verifying with your own discernment.
Exactly. In Bapuji words, there is knowledge on the internet too, but discernment will always remain your own.
Yeah. So the question is now what happens to a guru after death?
Mm.
Chitnaji, we are now entering the part of this book that I think will be new to most to our listeners. And I want to say gently at the start, some of it may unsettle you. So sit with it rather than reacting to it.
So the question is, what happens to a guru after they die? Does their
Hmm.
role continue after they die? Can they still guide their disciples?
Babaji makes a distinction first. In earlier times, true gurus of high spiritual level did not remain bound to earth after death.
Mhm.
Their souls ascended naturally to the higher dimensions.
Mm.
And from there, they were not pulled back into earthly affairs.
And Bapuji says those true guru often instructed their disciples in advance. मुझे याद भी ना करना means don't
Hmm.
even remember me after I have gone. Don't keep my photograph. Don't make my statue.
Yeah. Because they explain if you keep pulling me with your memory, I will have to descend from the higher regions and come back towards earth. It's a very deep point. Yes.
Yeah, and that's the mark of the true Guru, Bapuji says. They gave their
Hmm.
knowledge during their lifetime. And when the work was complete, they wanted their soul to ascend to its proper higher region without
Hmm.
obstruction. They did not
Hmm.
encourage ongoing worship their own form.
Yeah. And what is happening today?
So today, Bapuji says the situation is very different. Most guru of this age, after death, do not ascend at all. Their soul remains in the subtle world near the earth, wandering sometimes around their old ashrams, sometimes pulled back by the prayers and memory of their followers. Oh,
Wow. But why, Chidnaji? The question
be-
is, yeah, why?
because they did not themselves possess the higher knowledge or the inner strength that ascension requires. It's very important point
Hmm.
that inner strength that ascension requires.
Hmm. Yeah, they didn't have the higher knowledge and the enough inner strength that ascension requires. That is so true. And this is where it matters for the disciple. If a disciple believes their departed guru is now seated in some higher abode and prays to them as God, in
Mm,
reality, that guru's soul is still in the subtle world near the earth.
yeah, and then the disciple is not connecting where they think they are connecting.
Yeah. They may receive some help, but that help is coming from the subtle world soul, not from the supreme. And the subtle world souls have their own limitations, their own
Mm.
desires, their own karmic debts.
So Bapuji names this honestly. हम तो भूत पूजा कर कहते हैं. We call this kind of ghost worship not as an
Hmm.
insult in the precise spiritual sense that's a soul still in the subtle world and cannot give what the supreme can give.
Yeah. So, in Bapuji's words, a real guru never asks for his own statue to be worshipped.
And Monaji, I want to add that kindness that Bapuji adds here because it's essential. He says that the seeker should not blame themselves if their devotion has so far been offered in the wrong direction.
It is only a matter of understanding clearly now and gently turning your remembrance upwards. Whatever genuine virtue you received from any earlier teacher remains as a blessing. You do not
Yes.
have to lose it.
And you only have to lift the direction of your deepest connection.
Yes. Yes.
So the subtle world has its own geography. Now, Monaji, if we stop there, listeners might imagine that the subtle world is just a confused strip of the stuck souls. Bapuji says that's not the full picture.
Yeah, not at all. The subtle world has its own order, its own levels, its own ashrams, and its own gurus who teach the souls arriving there. Oh, wow.
Yes.
So it's happening there too in subtle world. Yes.
And he maps it, which I found extraordinary.
Yeah. He says Earth's gravitational pull extends roughly 200 kilometers. Within
Right.
that layer are the souls who left the body without proper inner purification.
Hmm.
So the Mayavi souls, we can say souls attached to the worldly attractions, is still bound to that attraction, that maya, is still
Mm,
full of unsatisfied longing, is
mm,
still attached to their homes and their relationships they left behind.
right. So their subtle bodies made of three subtle elements carry a heaviness, the heaviness of that air element weighed down by desire. The earth and earth gravity has a hold on that element too.
Hmm. So crossing those first 200 kilometers requires effort. It doesn't happen automatically. Until that effort is made, the soul wanders between its house, its traditional temple, and its few places it knew.
And how does it cross?
How can you cross those 200 kilometers? Spiritual effort. It has to hear in some form. This instruction, like forget the body, forget all bodily relationships, it has to turn its longing inward into a strong resolve, the desire to go deeper into the subtlest regions of the creation.
And then that desire becomes strong enough, and the craving of the human life have fallen away. A guru of the subtle world becomes available, and with their help, the soul crosses.
Yeah. Then the levels continue. Beyond 200 kilometers, the next layer extends to 500. The world of subtle ashrams and tapasya, where many sages and saints do their practices and help newly arrived souls complete their own.
Right. And then 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 10,000, 1 lakh kilometer. At every
Hmm.
level, there are guides, ashrams, and teachings. At every level, the
Hmm.
souls it told a little more so it can gather more strength. Such a
Yeah.
system.
So, yeah, and at every level, one warning repeats.
Don't look down. Oh
Do
my
not
God.
look down, yes. If the rising soul looks back towards this materialistic world it left, then this attraction, or we can say Maya, pulls it back. Looking
Mm.
down is descent. The mind moves first, the soul follows.
His mind is very flickering.
Mhm,
Now, here is the part that reorganized my whole understanding. Bapuji is asked whether the guru of these subtle labels belong to only one tradition. He says no.
mhm, mhm. So, in the lower levels, up to around 10 lakh kilometers, there are ashrams of every faith. Every
Wow.
tradition that
10 lakh
exists on earth
kilometers.
has its places of worship present in the subtle world too. 10 lakh kilometers up to. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
very big, huge.
Hmm. So
Which is
that
why,
helps us soul to ascend, right? Hmm.
yeah, but remember that warning, don't look down.
Yes, don't
Somebody
look
crossed
down as
certain kilometers, looked down
yeah,
and gone.
and come back.
So, which is why
Hmm.
Antmati Sugati applies with the complete precision. At the time of death, the mind turns towards whatever it holds most firmly in life, and the souls of that same tradition come to receive the departing one person.
Hmm. The soul that held its guru is welcomed by that guru's subtle ashram. The soul that held its tradition's founder is welcomed by that founder's subtle counterpart. The geography of the lower subtle levels is almost an exact mirror of the geography of faiths on Earth's surface.
And he extend the measure further. The sun is about 15 crore kilometers from the earth at earth's own
Mhm.
outer perimeter, and in the
Mm.
sense this lower band of the subtle world extends to about 16 crore kilometers around the sun. 16
Wow.
crore kilometers around the sun. Within that vast circumferences, every ashram of the gross world has its corresponding ashram in the subtle.
Mm. Which means every guru who came to earth in the natural order came from a subtle ashram of that same tradition. The tradition above runs alongside the tradition below.
And yet the central teaching of the book stands untouched and now becomes even clearer.
Yes. So every level of the subtle world, every ashram, every, we can say, the Dharamnath, every welcoming guru is still part of that same layered subtle realm. These gurus can carry a sincere soul through their own territory, ashram by ashram. They can teach, they can console. Hmm.
Hmm. But they cannot themselves bring the soul to the Almighty Authority. Hmm.
There is the point. For that, only one thing is sufficient, the connection of Atma Swarup, the soul consciousness, the direct connection with the Supreme.
So the wise seeker honors the ascent the subtle guru offer and doesn't mistake a subtle ashram's welcome for home.
Hmm. The fear of the curse, Chetna ji. One of the most common fears that stops people from leaving a guru is the fear of a curse.
Hmm. If I leave the guru who initiated me, will they punish me from the subtle world? Will they send misfortune into my life? Yes, there are
Hmm.
fear in many people's life.
Oh, yes, yes. And Bapuji removes this fear completely in one clean stroke. He says if a guru threatens to curse a disciple from the subtle world, then that guru's soul has no spiritual power.
Hmm. इन बापूजी वर्ड्स अगर श्राप देता है तो उसकी आत्मा में शक्ति नहीं है इसलिए श्राप लगेगा भी नहीं
Ah, so if he's cursing, that he doesn't have the that much power,
पावर
and that curse is not going to work. That is good news for them who think about it.
यस
If they curse you, it means their soul has no power. And therefore the curse is not going to take any effect either. So
So because both curses and blessings operate according to the spiritual power of the soul and that
hmm,
speaks them. A soul without inner strength can produce neither a heavy blessings nor a heavy curse. Whatever is expresses is essentially weightless in the higher order.
hmm. Whatever it expresses is essentially weightless in the higher
Hmm.
order. Wow. And a truly powerful soul would never curse a sincere seeker in the first place.
Yes. So there is a second question Bapuji's answered here. That I think if is even more practically useful. Sometimes a disciple leaves a guru and does then experience difficulty, health problems, emotional trouble, you know, turbulence, fear,
Mhm.
instability, and they conclude my guru must have punished me.
Babuji explains that this is rarely a curse. Most
Yeah.
often, it is disturbance arising from the disciple's own subconscious fear, or it is the natural churning of a soul that has decided to take a new path.
Mm.
So
And
it's
sometimes
your
there's,
own. Yes.
yeah, and sometimes there's no negative cause at all. It's simply ordinary life.
Yes. And when the seeker understands clearly that no curse mechanism is operating, the internal pressure lifts by itself and the
Hmm.
disturbances gradually settle.
Yeah. He also gives us a general principle here that I would apply to living teachers as much as departed ones. Like real spiritual power never expresses itself through threat.
Hmm. A genuinely powerful soul has no need to dominate anyone, frighten anyone, or punish anyone. Its power flows naturally as blessing, as light, as silent wisdom.
So beautiful. So, the
Hmm.
very presence of the fear based language in the spiritual relationship, if you leave me, you will suffer, is itself the signal that the relationship is not of the highest level.
Yes, in Bapuji's words, a soul that curses has no power. A soul with power never curses.
So true. So, initiation, mantras, and money. Moneji, let's
Hmm.
go into the uncomfortable area because Bapuji goes
Hmm.
into it without, flinching. Initiation sold for money.
Bapuji says that in our age, many gurus have turned in paid
Diksha.
service, right?
Mhm.
Mantras have fixed prices. There is a fee to become a disciple. Higher levels of teachings carry higher fees.
And his response is quiet, but it's radical. असली कोई मंत्र भी देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Actually, there is no need to give any particular mantra at all.
Hmm. The principle he is establishing is this: really spiritual knowledge belongs to every seeker's soul by birthright. It is
Mm.
not any teacher's personal property. It cannot be bought or sold. The moment knowledge is placed behind a paywall, something essential is lost.
So 100% true.
Right.
It's like Bapuji.
Yes,
I
yes.
think people
Mhm.
think, but they forget about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think out of fear, when people have problem, they just want a solution and they
yeah,
are ready to
that is
pay any
true.
price for it. Yes. Without
So,
even any knowledge, they just think somebody will come and somebody will help us to overcome whatever problem is coming.
yes, the original spirit of Gyan Dan Mahadan, the donation of the knowledge, is the highest donation.
Wow. And Bapuji is so honest about these mantras too. In ancient times, mantras like Om and Namo Buddhaya, were given in their simplicity. Later, every sect began manufacturing its own mantra. A
Hmm.
mantra for this deity, a mantra for that one, the Ganesh mantra, Vishnu mantra, Lakshmi mantra, and it kept going. So,
And each with its own scope and its own limit.
hmm. And Bapuji says plainly most of these mantras no longer carry any deep power in this age. The ones giving them often do not have enough power in their own souls to transmit any living change into those syllables.
Hmm. Right.
Transmit any living charge into those syllables, right? So the seeker repeats the words but doesn't experience the transformation these mantras produced in earlier ages. So there is no
So,
power.
yeah. Some peace may come, Deep change does not. Temporary peace.
Yeah, yeah. And the underlying rule is no ritual can substitute for realization. A mantra is a tool. Initiation is a beginning. But unless the seeker actually meditates, actually becomes soul conscious, actually connects with the Almighty authority, the ritual has not transformed them.
So, what is the real initiation then? And I love his
Hmm.
answer.
Yeah. So Bapuji says real diksha, we can say real initiation is the moment the soul tastes its own form for the first
Hmm.
time. The moment it
Yes.
experiences itself as light, as soul, separate from the body, and that
Hmm.
moment when the seeker says, I am not the body, I am the soul, and feels it from within, that is true initiation.
So true. And after that, the path opens by itself.
Yeah, for which no money is needed, no external guru is needed, only sincerity, study, and the willingness to spend more time each day in inner remembrance.
In Bapuji words, knowledge is not sold, knowledge is given.
Yes, knowledge is not sold, knowledge is given. And now the question is how to recognize a false teacher. Chetnaji, Bapuji is careful in this chapter. He refuses to name any individual, but he also refuses to let sincere seekers wander. So he describes patterns.
And the patterns are recognizable to any honest eye.
Yes, the first is the large following built on a hollow foundation. Teachers with enormous followings, immense wealth, claims of great spiritual attainment, and an inner state that is, he says, with quite honestly, empty.
Hmm. He mentions teachers with dozens of vehicles, multiple residents, even private aircraft, while
Mhm.
preaching detachment to followers living simple lives.
Yes. And the contradiction itself is the test. A teacher whose
Hmm.
lifestyle openly contradicts their own teaching has already shown you which side they actually believe in.
So, though he adds an important qualification, wealth by itself is not the sign. Many true saints have moved among kings. The sign is whether the lifestyle speaks of attachment or of freedom.
Then he answers the question of how such teachers gather such crowds. And his
Hmm.
answer is one I haven't heard anywhere else.
Yeah, so Bapuji says they receive support, often without knowing it, from groups of the subtle world souls with their own desires, desires of the attention, for celebration, for opportunities to re enter human bodies through influence.
Oh, okay. So those subtle groups push followers towards certain teachers because the activities those teachers arrange give the subtle souls a chance to become active through the followers. Oh, wow. Hmm. So very deep.
Manoj, yeah, could you please continue
Hmm.
for a minute?
Sure. Yeah. So mass meditations, that turn into mass dancing, fringe states after group rituals, channeling sessions where angels are said to enter and dance through the participants. Bapuji has seen these and described them. He says with study clarity, these are not sacred. They are collective possessions wrapped in spiritual knowledge. How beautiful it is. They are collective possession wrapped in a spiritual language. And he tells a story from Delhi. So, a foreign teacher was conducting an event claiming to invoke angels. 50 serious looking adults stood in a circle. The teacher began the invocation, and within minutes, all 50 were dancing in a frenzy and had completely lost their original identity. They could not even recognize themselves. And the teacher called it contact with angels and stress release. But Bapuji recognizes it for what it was like, we can say subtle entities entering bodies that the participants had voluntarily emptied of self consciousness. Afterwards, the participants had no memory of what had happened.
And he says this kind of teachings has spread widely now in our age. Many
Mhm.
cultures under many names. Stress release through mass frenzy, healing through invoked spirits, awakening with the help of the chemical substances.
Yeah, different forms, same underlying mechanism. The participants surrenders self-consciousness. So subtle entities enter, effects are produced, and that seem spiritual, but it lead nowhere upwards.
Right. He also warns
Mm.
about the forced chakra opening and kundalini awakening without proper foundation. His teachings is that the chakras open naturally when the soul has earned a real strength through the knowledge and
Mm.
yoga. Attempting to
Mm.
force them open without that foundation can cause harm, physical, mental, and karmic.
Yes. A soul that doesn't yet know itself should not be interfering with its own energies centers. Yeah.
Right. And distance healing, the circles where one person claims to send healing vibrations to many, often through message, group, or video calls.
Mm. He says plainly it doesn't work the way it is advertised. A person whose own soul is not yet pure cannot transmit purity to others.
So, what often actually transmits is the sender's own residual negativity wrapped in the spiritual language. The receiver feels something, and sometimes positive at first from the effect of the expectation, and sometimes uncomfortable later as the actual energetic content settles.
So Papuji says real healing requires the healer to be a high power soul. In
Mm.
regular meditation, working under the direction of the Supreme. Such healers exist, but they are rare, very rare. Most who claim it are not.
And then his taste simple, direct, requiring no insider information, only honest observation.
Only honest observation. So, does the teacher emphasize the soul's own self realization, or do they make the seeker dependent on them?
Do they teach the soul to connect directly with the Almighty Authority, or do they place themselves in between?
Yeah. Do they live simply with wealth and lifestyle reflecting their teaching, or in a grand splendor that contradicts their own words?
Do they speak of Behad Gyan, the vast truth of the universes and the Supreme, or only of the local devotion to one form?
Hmm. And the deepest test of all, where do they point?
Hmm. A true teacher points to the seeker beyond themselves, directly to the Supreme. A false teacher turns the seeker towards their own greatness.
Yeah. The first sign of falsehood is the glorification of the teacher. The first sign
Mm.
of truth is the teacher's gentle appearance into the source they both share.
So, in Bapuji words, a false guru will keep you with himself. A true guru will deliver you to the supreme.
Yes. So, Chetnaji, before we come to our final teaching, there is a chapter I want to include because I think it will answer a private question some of our listeners have never spoken about.
Yeah, the strange experience in deep meditation.
Yes. The sound of anklets, the sounds of crying or screaming, the feeling that someone is in the room, the smells of perfume or the decay, the visions of the figures.
And many sincere meditators are disturbed by these and start wondering whether something is wrong with them.
Yeah. Bapuji's response is this is a very good question. And then he explains with such calm.
When a meditator sits in a deep yoga meditation, the mind gradually stills. As the stillness deepens, the seeker enters states near samadhi. And in that stillness, something unexpected happens. The seeker becomes sensitive to the subtle world.
Yeah. Which Bapuji reminds us is not far away, it's just right here, in the same
Hmm.
physical space, only at a finer level of vibration. So, normally, the noise of our ordinary mind keeps us separate from it. So, when the mind becomes still that veil thins. So, some people can experience the things from subtle region because mind is becoming quiet in meditation.
And we begin to perceive what was always there.
Yeah, what was always there. So, as for why subtle souls disturb meditation, Bapuji says they have their own purposes. Some see a meditator and try to disturb them, often because the meditator's stillness is unfamiliar or uncomfortable to them.
And some are not
Hmm.
hostile at all. They
Hmm.
simply need help. They sense a
Hmm.
small charge of the spiritual power around the meditator. Bapuji calls
Hmm.
it subtle aura of Shakti, and they come close, hoping for help. They cry, they scream, they try to convey their distress. They think this yogi might somehow free them.
Oh. And there are positive souls too, who send beautiful fragrances, sounds of sweet music, sometimes singing or dancing. And negative entities send like foul smells, harsh sounds, ugly visions.
And he is very clear all this is real. These are not the illusion of the tired mind, these are actual contacts with the subtle world.
Hmm. But, and this is the correction, they are not signs of spiritual progress.
Contact with the subtle world and connection with the Supreme are not the same thing. A soul can
Mhm.
have many such experiences and still be very far from the Almighty Authority.
Yeah. So these experiences show only that the mind has become quiet enough to perceive the subtle. They are, but they are not a
Right.
destination.
Yeah, the subtle world is like a forest between the seeker
Mm-hmm.
and the destination. It simply
Mm-hmm.
has to be passed through. Some travelers stop in the forest, enchanted by its strange beauty. or frightened by its strange sound.
Yeah. But the wise traveler keeps walking.
And practically, three things. First, don't be afraid. These experiences cannot harm a soul that is established in the soul consciousness state and connected to the Almighty Authority. Fear is the only door through which subtle entities can shake the seeker.
Wow. This is very important.
Yes.
Fear is the only door through which subtle entities can shake the seeker. So, second is deepen the inner anchor, increase the practice of soul consciousness, increase the remembrance of the Supreme. The more the soul's own light, the less the subtle disturbance can touch it. So, continue meditating peacefully without getting entangled, neither encouraging these events nor fleeing from them. In time, they settle by themselves.
Yes. Third, treat mess- don't treat messages received in dreams or in meditation as commands. Even if
Hmm.
a departed guru appears, even if a deity seems to speak, weigh what is said against your own discernment and against the broader measure of the Behad Gyan. Very important and
Hmm.
warning message.
Very important. Yeah, important. If it matches the ultimate truth, it cannot be considered. It can be considered. If it matches the ultimate truth, it can be considered. If it contradicts the ultimate truth, set it quietly aside. Don't get entangled in it.
Yeah. In Bapuji words, subtle experience is not the sign of knowledge. The experience of the Almighty is the real progress.
Hmm. So, the one instruction, Chetna
Mhm.
ji, we have covered so much what a guru is for, their limits, what happens after their death, the layered, subtle world, false teachers, strange sounds at midnight. So,
And after all of it, Bapuji always returns to one final teaching, the same one he gives to the every seeker, no matter where the conversation began.
and it is one line, Chetna ji.
Become soul conscious and build a direct connection to the Almighty Authority.
This is it. That is the whole thing. Become soul conscious and build a direct connection with the Almighty Authority.
Yes, and he often quotes the Gita in support. He says Sri Krishna himself is the Almighty Authority, and Krishna's own teaching to Arjuna was exactly this: forget the body and all bodily relationships and become the soul conscious. Remember me, the Supreme, and I will destroy all your sins.
Mm. Older than any tradition, newer than any modern teaching, the same in every age.
Every age. Wow.
And
And
that
then,
is,
yeah, and then his analogy, which I think about constantly. A human guru, however sincere, is at most a battery.
yeah, they can give some charge, but a seeker connected only to a battery will drain it sooner or later.
So the seeker who connects to the powerhouse will never run low. Mhm.
Yeah. In Bapuji's world, Almighty को पकड़ो, powerhouse जो है. Hold on to the Almighty authority, that is the ultimate powerhouse.
Yes. And he draws a distinction here. I want to every listener to hear the difference between the inspiration and power. Mm,
Yeah, the inspiration moves the mind for a few more minutes. power transforms the soul.
Mm.
Many teachings give beautiful inspiration but no power. The seeker returns from a satsang, we can say, feeling good and is back in old habits within a day.
And Bapuji says, what is not what the soul actually needs? That is
Power
not what
comes
actually
from one
soul.
source only. Yeah.
Mm.
So power comes only from one source, direct connection with the Almighty authority, and that connection deepens. The soul receives real energy. All the vices, all the negativity within begin to dissolve, and the old impressions begin to transform. The grip of the birth and death cycle begins to loosen. So
Wow.
that is
So,
the whole, yeah.
so in Bapuji words, you need power, not just a inspiration. Only the Almighty Authority will give power.
Hmm.
So the three-part path. So Monaji, will you give your listener the practical closing? Bapuji leaves the seeker with three simple parts.
Yes, I will. First,
Mhm.
sit in knowledge. Listen to the teachings of the Behad Gyan, infinite knowledge. Understand the structure of creation from this earth to the supreme abode, to the multiverse, to the Behad Kala, the infinite celestial power. Understand karma, understand liberation and liberation in life, and
Mm,
ultimately the supreme abode. So let this knowledge settle quietly into the soul.
wonderful. And the second one is practice the soul consciousness. Throughout the day, in the middle of your ordinary duties, keep returning to the inner remembrance. I am not this body, I am soul. I am the soul, I am a soul, I am a point of conscious light. This practice steadily empowers the soul.
Hmm. So, third one is sit in meditation with the Almighty authority. Established in soul consciousness, turn your inner vision towards the formless supreme light. Rest in that connection. Let the soul charge. Let the weight of karma dissolve. Let the journey towards supreme abode begin.
And there is one more thing Bapuji wants, and it's the reason we make this podcast. Tell them.
Tell them.
He never wants the seekers to remain merely a follower. He wants the seeker to become a knower.
Such a powerful point. A follower repeats, a knower understands. A follower initiates, a knower lives it. A follower needs a master at every step. A knower is connected to the source itself.
So powerful and wonderful.
Mhm, mhm.
So, and when the seeker becomes the knower, the connection with the Supreme becomes direct, unmeditated, unbreakable. No after date drama can disturb them. No false teacher can mislead them. No event of the subtle world can confuse them.
The soul stands in its own light and moves steadily homeward to the supreme abode.
So become the soul consciousness, connect with the Almighty Authority, hold the connection still, the soul's own light becomes steady. Hmm.
Hmm. And then in due time, the soul will rise. It will cross every subtle level. It will reach its supreme abode.
And in that arrival, the entire purpose of the Guru, of every Guru in every age, is fulfilled.
Hmm. So, in Bapuji's final words for this episode is always stay in soul consciousness and remember the Almighty. This is the only way. to cross. This is to cross all the realms, and get to the supreme abode. Become soul conscious, remember the almighty authority, that alone is the path.
Right. So, this episode was drawn from our Guru, the bridge, like the Guru, the bridge between the seen and unseen, based on the divine teachings of Bapuji Dashrath Bhai Patel, published by Vishwa Parivartak Vishwavidyalaya.
Yeah, and all our books are free. Bapuji's original discourses are free on his YouTube channel because, as he says, the donation of the knowledge is the highest
Yes,
donation.
donation.
Gyandan Mahadan. Yes.
So,
So,
share this with one person who is still searching, whom you know.
mhm, yeah. So, this whole episode is based on wonderful teachings of Bapuji, Dashrath Bhai Patel, and his book is coming in future on this same topic, the difference between Guru and the Satguru, the true Guru. So, thank you so much. Until next time, have a wonderful day. See you in next episode. Supreme Peace. Param Shanti.
Supreme
Param
Peace,
Shanti.
Param Shanti, Bapuji.